After a very confusing start to a Monday Night Football game where there was a weather delay in a stadium that everyone thought was a dome, nonetheless, the Chargers went out and swiftly beat the Raiders, a much anticipated divisional matchup that got out to a 21-0 lead, and unlike so many times last year, they didn't blow the massive lead. They held on to win 28-14. And now with everyone's suspicions that there might be something going on with this Charger team, there is no more suspicion. This is definitely something going on in LA. The Chargers are now, going back into last year, 7-1 in their last 8 games. We need to cover what we thought going into the season, how the Chargers have executed and completely flipped around their program, and what we were very unsure about the direction just a few years ago, but mainly how Brandon Staley has completely changed the culture of this team already. The first thing we need to mention is how deceiving last year was. I remember doing a segment on this podcast last year. We were talking to the most unlucky teams in the NFL. A very popular answers was the Niners with all their injuries, but I wanted to go a different route. I wanted to think what team has so drastically different their record for how good they actually are. So that was the Chargers for me, and here's why. Last year, 7 of their 9 losses were in one possession. 2 of their losses happened on the last play of the game. 2 other losses came in overtime. They had 7 blown leads out of their 9 losses. 1 of them being a 20-point lead and 2 of them being 17-point leads. It just seemed like they needed to get better game management, better coaching, a more dynamic defense, and some more help protecting Herbert. And if you don't believe me that coaching, management, and culture has almost everything to do with it, listen to this. Last year in 2020, the Kansas City Chiefs finished the season with a league best 14-2 record. In the NFL, most games are going to be close. 10 of the Chiefs' 16 games were decided by one possession. So games are going to be close, but are you going to be known as the team that always blows the lead and loses tragically like the Chargers last year, or the Chiefs team that have an equal amount of close games, but every time they take the field in the fourth quarter, everyone in the stands and everyone watching it at home knows who's going to win this game? Well, maybe all of their close calls and misfortunes were a blessing in disguise because they got an absolute steal in the draft and tackle Rashawn Slater, who's an absolute beast. We might have to do a full video on him, but I don't know how lineman videos are gonna do. But enter Brandon Staley, who is an incredible defensive coordinator with the Rams and now their head coach. And he has been the reason for their instant success. Not only did he bring his defensive schemes, but he brought a winning culture, a clear message to his teams, and it seems that they're all buying into it, especially in the success in their close games, which we'll get to eventually. But what interests me more is the division that they're in, the AFC West. In their 7-1 run, 2 of those wins were against the Chiefs, 2 against the Raiders, and 1 against the Broncos. They seem to have made their presence known in the AFC West, and it's emerging to be one of the best divisions in all of football. We can say we don't fully know who the Broncos are yet, just with the slate of teams they've played so far, but we know who the Chiefs are, we know who the Raiders are. But let's go over the Chargers' last 3 wins. The Cowboys loss, I don't want to cover as much because it wasn't the story of last year. The loss had a lot more to do with the Cowboys actually being a very talented football team and the Cowboys winning it, rather than the Chargers losing it or blowing this huge leads like it was last year. But the games that they have won this year just felt different, and I think it starts with the relationship with Brandon Staley and his team, but more specifically Justin Herbert. The defense may not be as stacked as the Rams are, but they are very sound. It always seems like they're the right game plan going in, and most importantly, they've been forcing turnovers like crazy. They're 7th in interceptions, 2nd in forced fumbles, 5th in passing yards allowed, all of these being improvements from last year. And in the Chiefs game alone, they got 2 picks off Mahomes and another 2 forced fumbles. But let me show you a play that has defined the team so far this season. It is 4th and 4, and the Chargers are going for it to convert for an easier field goal, and more importantly, not let Mahomes touch the ball again. Well, not everything always goes to plan, and they get a false start. Now it's 4th and 9. Do you take the long field goal, which is now 53 yards? Do you punt it? Do you play field position and go into overtime? How about what we've seen from John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson so many times? Brandon Staley says, Justin, you got this. Go make a play, and he does. He throws a perfect ball that gets completed if the defense doesn't interfere. This leads to go-ahead touchdown to beat Mahomes in Arrowhead. And to me, this is why it's a winning culture and just a win-win call. If they get it, which they did, then it pretty much seals the game, and it's a massive, massive win. And even if they lose, Herbert and that entire offense gets the feeling that their head coach believes in them and is willing to bet on them in the most crucial situation. It just has to be a huge confidence boost for Herbert, and even the defense defense who had a clear game plan going in to stop Tyreek. They held him to 5 catches for only 56 yards, so even though the defense caused turnovers, they let them back in the game. They executed their game plan and it worked. They won. And a side note, I do agree with this game plan because it's just so demoralizing for a defense and energizing for the offense to see Tyreek just go for 3 large bombs when the defense tries to get too cute with man coverage on him. But another very close game they had was with Washington in week 1. It was back and forth all game, again, like most games, but then the fourth quarter happened. This is where the Chargers messed up almost all of their games last year, but this game the defense stepped up. They pitched a shutout in the fourth quarter, and the offense scored the only points with a touchdown to take a 4-point lead and win. This is what I'm talking about. They're not blowing 17 to 20-point leads and losing and shrinking when it's time to grow. They seem confident now. It feels like they can go out and beat any team in the league. They have all the confidence in their quarterback is emerging one of the best in the league and taking care of them when the moments are the biggest. A stat I saw that blew my mind that Justin Herbert had is in his 19 games, 6 of them he has 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That is absolutely wild. But it's come very clear to me that this Chargers team is legit and they have a long-term plan centered around this coach and quarterback duo. Eckler has looked amazing and the new offensive line helps out with that. Staley is going to keep transforming this defense, and just like the Rams, people are going to be wanting to come to live in LA, play with Herbert, coached by Staley, compete for the playoffs and rings every year. They have an amazing new stadium, awesome new jerseys. It's just going to seem like the place to go out and play. Moving on a guy from like Rivers isn't easy. A lot of teams takes years and years and years to find their next guy. And luckily for the Chargers, well, actually not so lucky for me because I live in San Diego and they just moved over to LA, so I can't go out and watch them. This is going to be one of the most exciting teams and exciting games to go watch. I know they don't have their fan base and the Raiders kind of took that over, but I know it's going to grow exponentially, and I know a lot of players are going to go want to play for this franchise because it is growing. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this Chargers squad? I absolutely think they are legit. I think they could go out and beat any team in the NFL any given night. When it comes to the playoffs, though, you really want to bet on the more experienced coach and quarterback to win those games consistently. Do I think Herbert can go out and beat the Bucks, the Chiefs, any team in the NFL? Absolutely. But when you want to bet, I bet on the consistency of Brady, a Mahomes, or Rodgers to go out and win 4 of those games in a row. So do I think they're close? Absolutely. Are they legit? Can they beat any team? Absolutely. Are they only going to get better? Absolutely. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Comment down below what you think of the Chargers and what team you'd like me to cover next. And if you made it to this point in the video, I'm going to give you guys tomorrow's video. It's going to be a Trayvon Diggs video. I'm very excited about that. So comment down below if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. Appreciate and love y'all so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.